Good day there, boys and girls. I'm famous fictional detective Sherlock Holmes. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for me, but one thing students ask, what is your favorite type of plant? To which I always respond, a lemon tree. Alright, so boys and girls, we're here to talk about lesson 12.5, which is on volume. It really is a continuation of 12.4. Now, as a quick review, okay, we spent 2 days on 12.4, and the big departure is in 12.4, you could see the little squares or cubic units, which made them easier to count. But in 12.5, the cubic units won't be visible anymore, and we're going to go with what we know about finding the volume of square prisms and rectangular prisms. Please remember these lessons only apply to square prisms and rectangular prisms. You know, people sometimes ask me, Mr. Holmes, what is your favorite type of rock? Well, boys and girls, it's sedimentary. Ba-doom, psh. All right. So listen, as with the previous lesson, we have 3 dimensions. And as I've said many times before, I don't care what you call the dimensions. I don't care. Now, traditionally, the longest dimension is referred to as a length. So we will call it that. I'm taking this example right out of your book. This is the example on page 317 in your Pearson math textbook, which can be accessed through the Pearson Success Net. So this length, the dimension from here to here, is 6 units, 6 linear units, okay? We're going to call that length, okay? The front to back dimension, I'm going to call it width or depth. Again, I don't care what you call it. And that dimension is going to be 4 units, okay? So it's 6 units this way and it's 4 units this way. Now, boys and girls, listen, okay? The length and the width are what we call, or what Pearson is calling, the base. Okay, the base. This is 2 dimensions. Just think of a rectangle. Okay, just think of a rectangle that's 6 units this way and 4 units that way. Okay, it's almost as if they're doing. It's almost as if they're doing the first multiplication for you. So the base is 24 square units, or units squared. The depth, with the front to back dimension over here, is going to be 3 units. From the front to the back is 3 units. So just like with 12.4, okay, you have to multiply the 3. The only wrinkle that Pearson is throwing at you, okay, they're doing the first 2 multiplications for you, and they're calling it the base. Okay, so don't get confused by that. When I show you, I'm going to hold up the book to the camera, and you're going to say, oh, I see, because they're clearly outlining the base in a separate color. Okay, so getting back to this, you see it here. It's a pretty good visual. 6 times 4 is 24. That's the base. And then you multiply that by the other dimension, the front to back dimension, which I like to call depth, and you know it's 72 units cubed, or cubic units. You know, sometimes if I'm bored, I say to my roommate, Watson TV. Okay, all right. So, I have a rectangular prism here, okay? 3-dimensional rectangular prism here, okay? So just to kind of show you one more time, okay? Get right. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this dimension here, okay, from this end to this end, I'm going to call it length. Okay? Usually, as mentioned in the last couple of days, the longer dimension is referred to as length. Okay? And that is going, I hereby declare, it's going to be 7 units. It doesn't really matter. Okay? It doesn't. 7 units. And I'm going to state, without really measuring it, because it doesn't matter, that it's 4 units in this dimension. The height, if you will, is 4 units. So 7 multiplied by 4 is, of course, 28. Okay? So there's 28 square units in these two dimensions. Okay? And then I'm just going to say that the depth, okay, I'm just arbitrarily choosing the number 2. It's easier math. So 7 multiplied by 4 is 28, okay? And then you multiply 28 times 2, and so this would be 56 cubic units if you're doing it in that dimension, okay? Now, as promised, I told you I would hold up the book to show you what I'm talking about, or what Pearson's talking about, okay? Make sure you get this, camera guy. So you can see it here. Is it? It's good. Okay. So the base here is, it's really difficult to see. The base is 56 square units. So let's say it's 7 times 8, and then the height is 6. And you would multiply the base times the 6 to get the number of cubic units. And I love this here. This is page 317. This is what you were doing, we were doing in 12.4, okay? And the progression is simply, it's the same exact lesson with 2 little wrinkles. Wrinkle number 1 is you no longer see the individual cubic units. It is no matter, okay? You're plenty smart, okay? And then for some of these, they do the first multiplication for you. You can see here, the base is 16 square yards, and then you multiply 16 times 2, okay, and you would get 32 cubic units. So in those circumstances, this was the sample one we just did, just know that they've done the first 2 multiplications for you, okay? Now I will have all of this posted in the morning, and then I'll give you some independent practice ones to work on, okay? One other thing I wanted to talk about, a lot of people are asking me, Sherlock, why do you like a good Mexican restaurant? Well, there's a very good reason, because whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant, I get a quesadilla. I mean, a quesadilla. All right. So, boys and girls, listen. It's lesson 12.5. It's just a small step, a new nuance from 12.4. You can email me or message me with any questions you may have. Okay? All right. I'm going to go solve a crime. Okay.